Hello, welcome. In this video I will talk about a story of mine, or a story of multiple incidents happening or happened in my life. The first part of the video will be me talking about my meeting with extremely evil Christians and what I will describe as sadists. And in the later of the video, I will perform a really powerful and personal ritual. If you only came here for the ritual, I will leave a timestamp for you to see, so you can go over there quickly. And for my story, people, that are watching, that wish to hear my story. Before I start the story, I wish to 100% say that you are not alone. Take one day at a time, and it's a strength to ask for help. The reason I say this is there are some extremely sensitive topics I will talk about in this video. Related to death threats, related to depression, anxiety, and at worse than depression. So, trigger warning, this video is not for everyone, especially if it gets sensitive, because the subjects. We learned that most Christians are often respectful, loving. That's what they believe in, certainly, in a way. But not all are actually loving. Not all are actually what's it called, loving your enemies, but rather wishing your enemies the worst. Not only the worst, but disrespect and pain. I have met Christians, talked with Christians, but also a little the particular Christians, but I've also met Muslims that also are extremely wicked and mean. But the majority has been Christians. I have met Christians that, for what I saw, certainly took pleasure in making me sad, angry, uncomfortable, and depressed, because I am believing in what I do believe. Before all of this, before I was a Luciferian and practitioner and studying occultism, I were an atheistic Satanist, particularly part of the Satanic Temple, known in the United States. And this was in my younger days, where, I wished to rebel. But I was also a person of justice, and I saw, there was so much religious authority in this world, right? I think that's particularly why I became a Satanist in the first place. Um, I grew up online, um, talking with people, uh, sharing, getting friends, sharing stories, sharing bombs. Um, but not all people were as happy as seeing people like me, which is understandable. Like I met, and this was Christians that certainly didn't like me. I was mostly kind to them, and respectful. But certainly because, I believed in what I did believe in, that in a way justified them being disrespectful towards me. And sometimes, or one day, it got extremely out of hand. I, I had no friends growing up, almost no friends. I went online to look for people, just casual, normal people. I was probably, 16 years old when this happened. And I got severe death threats, uh, strong suicidal thoughts by the words and harassment by other people, so-called Christians, telling me to go to hell, telling me to taking my own life because I believed in what I believed in. I was a Satanist. I remember this particular individual online that I were online on like webcam chatting forums because this is where I met most of my friends back in the days. I for It was like an omegle type of website, but it was certainly more moderated with some AI stuff. After omegle went down, I met a lot of great people on these platforms. People that share the same interests in music, in gaming. And I also met Christians that wanted to talk about why I'm wearing at that time I was always wearing a pentagram necklace. These days I'm wearing a sigil of Lucifer, as that's my faith, that's my belief. He said to me, this individual, this adult man, said to me that he was a Christian. I said to him, he asked me, why aren't you Christian? Why can't you, become a Christian? I said, I don't want to, it's not for me. I don't wish it. I don't wish to follow that path. And all of a sudden he just said to me, well then why don't you take your own life so you get to hell faster? Obviously he wouldn't say things like this if it wasn't online, The barrier between computer screens literally makes him tougher enough to say something so horrible. It certainly made me sad. But I didn't really think much of it. Then I met another individual that certainly didn't like that I was a Satanist. Yes, I tried to debate Christianity in a way. I said that I don't personally think that Satan is evil, things like that. And then I remember I talked about it. I talked to him about every times I met, and really got affected by evil Christians that harassed me. And I got suicidal out of it because they harassed me so much. Seeing me as an object, seeing me as not as a person, because I was a Satanist. So it quite justified, being horrible towards me and not humane. I said to him that these incidents over time made me lack of liking in the Christian faith. I wouldn't turn over to something that people on that side have been horrible towards me, right? And he said to me that I'm weak because I was suicidal out of these incidents. He was a Christian. He wanted to even debate me, saying that I'm totally wrong, which is fine to say, because of my belief. But is it one thing you say to someone? Is it one thing you don't say to someone that just share that they may have severe depression, and some of the reasons is religious traumatic incidents? He said to me that it's my fault. I'm weak. I'm ignorant. That made me explode in my mind, because he touched something so severe. He said to me something I say to myself only when I'm extremely depressed. He activated a depression within me, so bad that the next day I called the ambulance because I was a danger to myself. And his word still haunts me slightly today. Every time I get, ill, I remember him saying that I'm weak, it's my fault. And then I remember the other person saying that I deserved, not only did I deserve to go to hell, but I should take my own life to get there faster. Because Christians believe that, suicide is a sin that leads you straight to hell. But I was already a sinner, so in theory I would double sin then, wouldn't I? I am not, yeah. This was just me sharing a story. I'm sorry that I pause a lot. It's a heavy topic. It's a heavy topic to think about, to share, to talk about. I don't really remember much of it. Or I do remember, but obviously since it's such an emotional place in my head, the brain really defends itself by trying to forget most of it. But I remember, even though I have natural, defense mechanism, every human has it. Every mentality has it. Other places online, I met Christians that are extremely ego. I they only think. I met individuals that only care about if they get to heaven, things like that. It's fine if they are rude and disrespectful to others, individuals online. I actually think that every time I say online, right, there's certainly a new trend, and that is that it's never been easier for religious individuals to be horrible, wicked, and evil towards non-believers or different believers online. Because people say online things they wouldn't dare say online, IRL, I mean, they wouldn't dare it. Seeing people like me as an object for that I would, even though I would, they see me as someone that will go to hell, so why wouldn't it be wrong to insult or harass this individual, right? AKA me. I will go to hell anyways in their eyes. That makes me almost like an object, almost like a target. I was over this. This is just the most severe incidents in my time online, either face to face to others, individuals, or just messaging. The worst incident was face to face with people online, on webcam chats, places online, on the World Wide Web. And people said to me things like, you will grow out of this. You will grow out of this belief, right? Back then I was a Satanist. But the fact is, I actually grew stronger. I became spiritual. I meditated. I used my past pain to gain strength, mentally and physically. Physical. I got help by Lucifer. I got help by his energy and wisdom and protection, really. It is certainly a story, isn't it? It turns out that I was the stronger one after all. To this day, I believe in that. it is important to share love, maturity, and respect towards other people, even though they aren't, with different beliefs. And I have personally experienced how evil Christians, how ignorant and wicked Christians actually can be, following their Bible under God. They can do something wrong, then get forgiven right after, right? Giving other people scars for years, even life. My story is just one part of many stories, sadly. Maybe you watching or someone you know has experienced something much more severe. Maybe you struggle to see how the story has troubled me so bad. But we're also different. You need to remember that we are all extremely different. We take things differently, right? It's based on personality. How what you think might be insulting, I wouldn't take as insulting. But what I think is insulting, maybe you wouldn't take it as insulting. Things like that. But what I told you, it quite messed me up. But it also made me stronger within myself, more sure about who and what I am. I was supposed to be different in the name of Lucifer, in the name of the infernal, of occultism. I do my work to share and gather knowledge, to help individuals on this path. Maybe people out there experience the same things I did with bad and wicked Christians. That's why it's important to protect them. Help them. To tell them that you are strong and you're doing enough. You were meant to be different. You were meant to follow what you felt was not only most right, but gives you most peace. Most of the Christians I talked about in this video are most likely Christians because they only believe in what they believe in because they don't want to go to hell. I know a lot of Christians that actually, I've seen and heard a lot of Christians that actually just they don't really care much about faith or praying or stuff like that, but it's just saving themselves really. But in there, they're horrible individuals. I'm not saying all Christians are like that, but a big part, sadly, is. And I'm showing today that I am stronger than what happened. And so are you experiencing these stuff. Thanks. Rienish Tasa Uberaka Biasa Ikar Lucifer. 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 Lilith, Leviathan, Baphomet, King Paimon, Hecate, Belial, Asmodee, Astaroth, and the rest of the occult spirits and old gods. I hail the guardians of knowledge and wisdom that is below, keepers of hidden knowledge. I ask for help this day, for this ritual of protection and strength. To protect and care for those who are experiencing religious oppression and violence. I pray for hope, not only for the people who follow this faith, occultism or luciferianism, but universally, regardless of upbringing and beliefs, that hope and love will triumph over all religious oppression. Thank you. Hail the black flame. Goetia by Peter Gundry. Lucifer's Rise by Nine Gates. Next song is Paimon, Great King. Our great King Paimon, I forgot. A Mordent. beautiful songs. This ritual is now over. Ave Lucifer. Thank you.